What's up, guys, man? Good morning. Hope you're having a great day. It's Aaron, the trucking guy. For those of you who don't follow me, I'd love to just make a quick video and tell you guys about kind of questions I've been getting. And one of the big ones that I get all the time is, Aaron, how do I build a fleet of trucks? You know, you guys want to get out there and jump into it and run a fleet, right? How do I build a fleet? How do I build a fleet? That's a big question that I get all the time. And I mean, I'm glad you guys are asking it. I get sick of you guys wanting to pay, $149, $200, $1,000, whatever for these courses, and think that you're going to learn something from these guys. And most of them aren't even running a fleet. They don't have a trucking company. They don't actually do this for real every day like we do. And I've built one. I've driven trucks. I've built a fleet now. And it's hard, guys. No matter how you look at it and which way you skin the cat, it's hard. Okay. So one of the first things is going to be, at what point do you start hiring people, and what do you attract people to your company? Because obviously you need to go get the experience. I think, in my opinion, everybody should get a CDL if you're going to run a fleet. For one, access to insurance is cheaper. Problems that may arise if you're going to have company trucks, you can go get the truck, bring it back, help somebody out, cover a load. Somebody gets sick, you can go get them, cover the load, whatever. You'll be able to help with that if need be, right? So it's kind of like you got to do whatever it takes. So whatever it takes, if you're in the trucking industry, is to know from the ground floor what it takes to get the job done. So I have a trouble, letting dispatchers or anybody that's really been in the industry handle a certain aspect if they've not been at that ground floor. You can be really, really good at one side of the job and have never done this job. That's very much possible. But I think it's better to start off from driving the truck. So go get your CDL. It's not rocket science. It's not impossible. It's not even, unattainable, because some people think that it is. I think my wife, we always laugh because she follows this guy, Bobby Bones, on, he's like the radio guy, and he just went and did a thing where he got a CDL. I think he flunked it his first time and this and that, or second time, and it was tough for him. And it is tough, but if you dedicate your time to it, you take it seriously, you can do anything. It doesn't matter what it is. You want to go, be a freaking astronaut, you want to be a doctor, you want to be a lawyer, you want to be whatever. If you're committed and you're dedicated, you can do it. So getting a CDL is just along the lines. Get the CDL. The next thing would be, go drive for somebody. Lease a truck, whatever you want to do. Rent a truck, drive for somebody. And I know a lot of guys start with hot shot and transition and then go into big truck or whatever. That's cool too. But get that experience. I think work for somebody, learn on their dime, because there's two ways to learn: on your dime or on their dime. Much cheaper on somebody else's, right? So even if it's, I hate to say it, a Swift or, any of these companies that have startup training programs, I would get my CDL on my own, go to school on my own, pay for my own. Don't necessarily let them do it. Unless you're completely out of money, don't have a way to do it, let them do it, but you got to pay them back. They usually tie it to your license. So if you can, go to school on your own, pay your own way, get your own CDL, then work for one of those companies for, 4 months, 6 months, a year, whatever. Put your time in, right? Do this as a long-term plan to really build a real business. Once you've done that, go maybe a lease purchase route for a little while, if that's what you want to do. It's cool. Now find a good one. Make sure you do a walk-away lease, because the majority of lease programs are not set up to benefit the driver. They're just not. They're to benefit the company. It's to offset their maintenance costs, offset a lot of tax liability, offset a lot of basically liability onto that driver. And they know that the statistics are they're going to get that truck back. It's like 98% of the time. And then put somebody else in it in another lease purchase deal, which lease purchase deals are just bad, right? So at that point, you've saved some money, unless you have great credit and you already have a bit of money and you're doing this as a learning curve. If not, save some money, get a truck, okay? Start by, hiring somebody to run that truck and drive that truck. That's how you would start. Or drive a truck and then hire somebody to run another truck. Or drive your truck because in the beginning, it's tough, guys, because you need to get to 5 trucks. That's the goal. Get to 5 trucks. 5 trucks is where you'll start seeing some things change. It'll get easier for you. And then you can kind of step away and do more of the dispatching management role, GM of the business, right? So the goal is just to get to 5, 1 to 5, right? So you obviously have to be that first truck, own that first truck, and I say it's not necessarily a bad deal, but it's not the best way to set it up, having your first truck be a lease truck. So I see people call me, hey, I've got a buddy that's got a truck. I'm going to set the authority up. He's going to run under me. I'm not going to drive. So now you've got a liability, because what if that guy quits? You don't have another truck, and you have to have a truck to keep your insurance, keep your authority, things like that. So if you own your first truck, and say you hire 3 or 4 owner operators and all of them quit, you've still got that one truck that you can continue operation with, right? You can keep your business going. And that's crucial in the beginning, because, you know, you're still learning and figuring things out, maybe the dispatch side of it, maybe whatever, right? So I say get the first truck, own the first truck. If you can, step right into semis, you know, stay out of the hot shot realm, just because it's more difficult. It's not set up for the long-term game. Now, when guys come in, they buy a 5500 series truck, you know, 14 ply tires, the Diamond C trailer, you know, 12K, 15K axles, air ride, you know, 16 ply tires on that, all the equipment, and it's a cabin chassis truck, and they've got a step deck. It's a 48 or 53 foot trailer. You're kind of setting that up for the long term. That's not typical hot shot with the big Tex trailer, the cheapo 3500 Dodge Ram, things like that. That situation, I've never seen them last 5, 6, 10 years. You know, I see those guys come in and out in a year, 2 years, 3 years, and they're done because the truck doesn't hold up, trailer doesn't hold up, they get tired, they get burnt out, whatever the situation is. But if you're going to do it long term, get the 5500 whatever series truck if you're going to do hot shot. If not, try to step right into the semi game, okay? So just write this stuff down in sequence, guys. But that's the next step, is to figure out what truck you're going to get into, get a truck, start your authority. Once you start your authority, you're going to have high insurance. It's just the way it is. You're going to have, for 3 years in your mind, I'm going to pay high insurance. You're not going to be as profitable. You're going to be profitable, but not as profitable for the first 3 years. Just go ahead and write it down now, right? Insurance is higher. Do everything you can to learn everything you can about safety, because in the beginning, you do kind of have to do it all. You have to manage your safety. You have to manage your dispatch. You have to do a lot of these things to save money, save costs, be profitable, and you need to learn those sides of the industry, right? So if you only know the driving side, and you don't know the dispatching side, or you don't know the safety side or the compliance side or things like that, you need to go learn all of those aspects. Whether you go to a course or a class, you go to Shaggy's, you go to wherever you go, you know what I mean? There's many other ones out there. Learn those fields of the business, and once you learn those things, you can then upgrade and step up. So everybody has to put their time in. You got to take your licks before you can take the next rung on the ladder. Now, always reach for it, and I don't want you to stay small. I mean, I know guys, hell, I think even Shaggy tells his story. He jumped like in the first year to 20 trucks or whatever. You know, I did the same thing. We went up to, you know, 10, 15, 20 trucks. So I'm not saying don't reach for those ladders, but don't try to do everything you can to not make the mistakes that I made or that some of these guys have made to save you money. So learn from us, or learn from people that have made the mistakes with the compliance, with the not buying the right truck, not doing this, not doing that, not hiring the right driver, you know, not going on the right insurance route, not keeping your safety score 100%, things like that, so that you can save yourself a lot of, you know, heartache and headache. But basically, once you, you know, get your authority open, you learn the dispatching side, you need to dispatch that truck. If you don't know how to do it, you need to learn how to do it, dispatch those trucks, hire an owner operator. So you have one truck that you own, maybe you put a driver in it, or you're driving it, are your two options, right? And you're dispatching you and an owner operator. And then take on another owner operator if you can. If you started out with an insurance company that won't allow you to grow, most insurance companies, when you first start out, say no growth. Drivers have to have 2 years experience, 2 years CDL minimum. Clean MVRs, no accidents, no tickets, no nothing, right? So you want to get with a company, guys, like Progressive. They're a direct bill company, or Berkshire Hathaway. So the way insurance works is it's finance. So the insurance company is paid in full by a finance company, and then they have certain terms on the way they let you pay it, on what they let you do, and certain things, right? So they're prohibitive for growth. You can't make any money with those type of companies, right? So the best way to go is basically to try to get with Progressive or Berkshire Hathaway or one of these other companies that's direct bill. You can add and remove drivers as you see fit. You can get drivers, maybe have one ticket. You can get drivers with, you know, less experience, less than 1 year. Maybe they just got their CDL, things like that. If you want to grow, because those are the drivers you can get a hold of. Some of the career drivers, they're not necessarily going to want to go with a small mom and pop company, because they have more benefits and advantages with the larger companies, with the way things are set up in a different way, right? So it's just more beneficial for them to go in a different, you know, cheaper insurance. They've been there longer. They got more accessibility to loads. They got contracts. They pay better. They just manage things better. Safety's better. You know, if a breakdown happens, they'll help them. Things like that. So that's why the owner operators that have the ton of experience would go there and not necessarily, you know, stick it out with you on the small side. So if you can get owner operators, sometimes you have to sacrifice and get guys with not as much experience or not as much stuff going on, so that they're willing to come to the company, right? Sorry, I kind of went a little scatterbrained there. But anyway, so once you do that, you know, you got to get to 5 trucks. So once you get to 5 trucks, and hopefully at that point, maybe around the 5 truck realm, and you're in your 2nd year, you can transfer over to a company like Progressive if you couldn't get them in the beginning. You can transfer over to, you know, whatever, Berkshire Hathaway, one of these other companies, right? Now, there's 2 different types of insurance with Progressive. One, you can get a fleet policy. Some, and I hear this all the time on YouTube, you can't have more than 10 trucks with Progressive. You can't have more than 10 trucks with Progressive. That's actually bullshit. So what happens is the insurance agent told them that, but that insurance agent is not able to sell fleet insurance with Progressive. So fleet insurance with Progressive actually lets you go to like 20 trucks. The non-fleet insurance with Progressive only allows you to go to 10 trucks. So you need to get with an insurance agent like the one that I have that allows you to go to 20 trucks. Now, once you go to 20 trucks, that's a whole nother story. You then need to maybe open up another MC number, get a different fleet policy that allows you 20 or more. They do it, they charge differently based on revenues. They do quarterly reports. Sometimes they do monthly. It's a whole different ballgame, but don't focus on that because it's difficult and that's long-term goals. You can pivot and make those decisions later on. Right now, you want to get on a fleet policy with Progressive. They're one of the best. As far as the ability to add and remove drivers as you see fit. Guy comes on, guy quits in a month, you can remove it. You just pay for what time he was on there. Guy comes on, has something happen, has to get out of it. He's going to come back later. You can take him off, okay? And you only pay for that amount, that portion, right? That ability, a guy gets a CDL 6 months ago, ran for JB Hunt or whoever, had a great deal. Has plenty of experience that you think he's going to be a good fit. He's an older guy. He looks very reliable. He just bought a bunch of equipment. Most people aren't going to take that guy, right? So he's got to either go to the mega carriers or he's got to go to somebody that has Progressive because they'll say, okay, we'll take him. But other insurance companies won't. They want 2 years. They want minimum 2 years CDL experience, you know, and so on and so on. So if he doesn't have that, what are your options? That's why you want to get to the Progressive insurance or even Berkshire Hathaway. They'll do the same. But a lot of the times, like Berkshire Hathaway, they'll only allow you to hire drivers from your state. They won't allow you to hire drivers. Like if you're based out of Florida, they won't allow you to hire drivers out of Georgia, Texas, these other places. So that's also limiting your growth because it's hard to find enough drivers as it is. To find them all from only one state is also difficult. So if you want to grow, you need to be able to hire drivers from, you know, we kind of do it regional, not necessarily all the way around the country, but we have hired guys all the way from California. So it is kind of a growth prohibitive who you set up with insurance. Sorry, guys, I'm not trying to let this video drag on, but that's what you need to do. So once you get your equipment, you get basically to 5 trucks, try to squeak over and get with Progressive on the fleet side so that you can grow to 20 trucks. Once you have the ability to get Progressive, it's very important on this 5 truck goal of yours that you are dispatching them. Once you get about 5 to 10, you could hire a dispatcher or hire somebody to help, whether it be in-house or a dispatch company. But you also need, on that 1 to 5, to manage safety. So crucial because you don't want your safety score out of whack. And if you're doing hot shots, I don't care what you do right. You can do everything 100% right. They're still going to screw with you and give you BS tickets that you need to fight, that you need to have protection on, and that you need to know everything you need to know. So your hiring and the things you bring on and the things you do need to be a certain level of professionalism so that you don't get out of services, so that you don't do this, you don't do that, so everything works out the way that it's supposed to.